Hey guys, welcome to the Gloves Community Centre. Amir Khan returning back from Washington. We as a team are obviously very disappointed with the outcome of the results and our emotions, which was tested on the night by the commissioners and various people that was there. However, Amir is here to give his own opinion and feelings, and we'll talk about the fight and we'll go into questions afterwards.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. It was a tough fight. I'm not taking nothing away from Lamont Peterson. He put on a great performance. He was, you could see that he trained hard for the fight, and he did everything that he needed to do. He stuck to his game plan, coming strong. At the time in the fight, he got a little bit messy, and the pressure, the way he was coming in with his head and everything. And I did make a complaint a few times to the referee, but the referee just never really did anything about it. I remember when he hit me below the belt once, and I looked at the referee and he still kept coming at me, and the referee just didn't say anything. I was fighting him in his home state, and I knew it was going to be a lot more harder for me to win the fight because he's going to have his home fans there. He's the main guy down there in his state, and people have come to see him, and he's going to have that advantage over me. So we had to be a lot on game. We had to try that bit harder. I'll speak to Bernard Hopkins and Oscar De La Hoya before the fight, and they said to me, before you even go into the fight, you're 2 points down anyway because you're fighting him in his home state. It didn't really get to me because I thought to myself, my boxing skills will win this fight if I stick to them and I do everything right, which I did. I tried. Like I said, he was just. I'm not taking anything away from Peterson. It was a tough fight. I thought I won the fight. I mean, there was 2 points taken off me. It's the first time ever I've had 2 points taken off me. Never before I've had I've had warnings in fights, but I've never been deducted points. And that's the first time ever I've had 2 points deducted in one fight, let alone just 1 point deducted. So, it was a learning curve for me how to come back from that, and it's only going to make me a better fighter. It was good 12 rounds of fighting, probably one of the best fights of the year again. On the second time on the trot, I think I can get the best fight of the year. And it was just one of them fights that everyone was on the edge of the seats. It was non-stop action. Lamont Peterson fought out of his skin. I gave it all, and I think now we're trying for the rematch. We put a complaint in for against the referee for all the taking all the points off me and stuff. So we'll see where that goes. We should find out in the next 7 to 10 days. But other than that, I was happy with the way I fought. I didn't make mistakes. It's about learning. Just turned 25. I made mistakes in the fight that I'm not going to make again. I'm going to sit down with my team when I go back in camp again and work on the mistakes that we made, and improve on the mistakes. I'm still learning as I'm going on. And I did say that I'm going to move up to 147 after this fight, but now that's kept me at this weight for another one more fight. So hopefully we're trying to get the rematch. We want the rematch against Lamont Peterson just to settle the score. This time so neutral. So maybe Vegas, I don't think he'll come to the UK. And Vegas could be a good spot to get this fight next. And I'm happy to fight him early next year, either March or May. So I've left it to Golden Boy, my promotion team, to get that fight for me. So we'll just see how that goes. I know what we need to do next time, and not to make it any closer next time. We need to win this fight convincingly, and I think if I stick to my boxing skills and stick to my game plan, we'll definitely win the next fight against them and bring the titles back home. But overall, it was a tough fight, and it was just one of them things. I mean, you have good days, you have bad days, and in my opinion, I was up against two people in the ring on Saturday. I was up against the referee and Lamont Peterson. Lamont did what he had to do. He was on game, he was smart, stuck to his game plan, but I just fell that bit short. I really thought I won the fight, but just didn't get it.
Okay, you've heard from Amir how he felt, so I'm going to open it up to the floor to ask questions, and we'll give you our answers as best as we can.
Specifically, what do you think you did wrong? You say you learned from it.
I think at times, when he come in, I should have probably stood there and just sat on my shots a little bit more instead of moving away or hitting angles. You know, when I was in the ring, it seemed like the fight was at one pace, but when I watched the fight over again, I watched the fight about 3 times. The fight there was a lot of action in the fight. The work rate was very high, and we just need to work on, you know, maybe fighting a lot more inside, and also, you know, at times not to look at the referee, because you know, I'm a clean fighter. I've never been in trouble for anything, and at times when he was doing things that I didn't like, I looked at the referee, but then took a shot at the same time. So I need to make sure my eye is always on my opponent.
Do you think you're underestimating Lamont?
I never did know. I knew this was going to be a tough fight. You know, styles make fights, and even though he's drawn against like the likes of Victor Ortiz and got beat by Bradley, I knew it was still going to be a tough fight, because he has that style that, you know, I've not really fought many fighters with that box fight style. He's got a very similar style like myself, but he likes to go in there and just stay in there and throw them looping shots to the body. So I knew it was going to be tough. I never underestimated him. That's the reason, you know, Freddie Roach had me training with guys who are a lot heavier than me, because he knew that Lamont Peterson's style is to push me around, and he wants to, you know, get a little bit dirty in there and keep me in that, keep me in the corner and work the body and everything. So sparring, and we worked very, very hard. Sparring was perfect. Pad session was perfect. You know, about 2 weeks before the fight, I got a bit of a flu. I got 2 weeks before the fight. Didn't really tell no one. I thought it was just maybe the weather change or something, and I took a couple of days off training as well. So maybe that didn't help. You know, everything just maybe come at once, and the pressure and everything, and the travelling and everything. But you know, this is all a learning curve. This is I'm not taking nothing away from Lamont Peterson. I give it all, and I just fell short. I really thought I did win it. But I mean, the judges, one giving me by 3-4 points, the other 2 giving me I lost by 1 point. If I didn't get the points deducted, then maybe I would have definitely won the fight if I didn't get them points deducted. So it's all a learning curve. It's about, you know, going into fights now and winning them more convincingly and not giving the opposition a chance. I knew that the fight when the fight was held, because the fight was held in DC, I knew it was going to be even harder to beat a guy from his home state. So I had to try that a bit harder as well. So, you know, we learn from our mistakes. It's about just how we come back from it. I know how I come back from the Prescott fight when I lost, and it's about coming back from this fight even stronger, and I think I will.
Where would be your ideal venue to stage a rematch?
I don't think the rematch will be in the UK. I don't think he'll want to come to the UK, but anywhere but DC. You know, anywhere but DC, I think will be perfect. Maybe Vegas could be a good spot. Golden Boy are trying for the fight in Vegas, and Lamont Peterson did say that he would love a rematch with me straight after the fight and in the press conference. So he said it to the world that he wants to give me a rematch, and I think that'll be the next move for us both.
But you doubt he'd want to come over here and
I don't think he'll do that. No, he'll never do that. He'll never come to the UK and defend the title. I think he'll be either Vegas or wherever. Really.
I think it has to be on neutral ground. If he comes back to the UK, then he has opens up a can of worms as well. Yeah.
I'd rather have it in the UK. So then, when I do beat him, I don't want him to think, you know, the same thing happened to me, happened to him. So I want it to be so neutral. So we have neutral judging and we have neutral referees. I mean, I found that after the fight, the referee was from DC itself, and he also, you know, he'd done 41 fights in DC and only 4 world title fights. A little bit inexperienced, but it was just one of them things which maybe the team should have looked at that before.
Why was it in Washington?
I couldn't get no fights. It was very hard to get a fight in the 140-pound division. Ideally, we were looking at Bradley to face, and Bradley didn't want to take the fight, so we moved on to fight Lamont Peterson. We offered him the fight in the UK. He refused to take that fight, and also he refused to fight in anywhere but DC. So we agreed with that. And a lot of people were saying that it was a bit of a mistake, and it's a bit stupid for us to go there, being the champion, fighting him in his home state. But you know, we needed a fight, and that's the type of character I am. I think it shows what type of fighter I am. You know, I will travel, I will go to people's backyard and fight them.
Right. Did you try a little bit too hard? Because at the end of looking at the fight, and I've watched it 4 times since I've been back in Iran, a bit jet lagged. Why did you elect to trade with this guy when were basically outboxing him soundly, but basically talking about he seemed to get dragged into some kind of big
Yeah,
dog fight.
I think that's one thing we need to work on when we get back to camp. I mean, Freddie's going to give me an earache probably when I get back, is because at times I did stay in there too long and I tried to fight with him, and maybe I fought with my heart too much instead of using my brains. When I was boxing him, I was, taking him apart and giving him a good boxing lesson, but at times I stayed in there maybe that bit longer and I traded with him, which we don't want to do again. It's not my style, and maybe I did something that I've not done before. I just want to prove to him that, look, even though he's fighting in his home state, I'm still here in front of him, and I will give him a fight. He wants to fight me, I'll fight him. If he wants to box me, I'll box him. So maybe I showed too much heart there, but I mean, next time we fight him, I'm going to stick to what I know best.
Because when I spoke to you in London that time, I said basically, are you going to fight me on the inside and are you going to fight me on the outside? And you even told me that basically talking about, if I can pick a guy out from the outside, what's the point going in there? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I mean, we training went so well and camp went so well. Maybe I just probably thought fighting him inside and had so much energy in me. I thought I can take this guy inside and outside. He was a little bit slower than me, so that worked on my side. So I thought I can catch him in between shots. But maybe that's something that we did wrong. Freddie did say stay away from the ropes, but maybe I stayed on the ropes a little bit longer. Even though he was putting a lot of pressure on me, a lot of the shots at the body. He didn't win me once. I mean, he did throw a lot of body shots. Took a lot on the elbows and stuff, but it just shows that he was a lot aggressive, but not a lot of the shots were scoring. But maybe the judges seen that a little bit different. If the points deducted didn't happen, then I would have won that fight probably by 2 points.
Clearly.
But because of the point, I'll probably 4 points because they take one off me and give him one. But it's just a learning curve really, and probably not even giving an excuse to the ref to even think about taking points off.
Still no doubts that you can beat pound.
Definitely, I'm only 25. I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world for me. I'm 25, and normally fighters are in my position at 27, 28, 29, like Lamont Peterson's 27 or 28, I think. So, he's probably in his peak now. I've still not hit my peak. I think another year or so I'll be in my peak, and these are the fights I need that are going to take me to where I want to be, and the fights that are going to bring out the best out of me. It's a fight that, is only going to make me a better fighter. It was tough, it was great. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I'd love to go back in there and do it again. That's just the type of fighter I am.
Regarding the incidents on the ropes, clearly in the middle of the ring, the exchanges that you had, you come out on top.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a deliberate strategy going into the fight of Lamont to actually get inside your head? Because at times during the fight, it did seem that you were visibly angry, visibly upset with what was going on in there.
Yeah, I think Lamont's game plan was to take me out of my game plan. I mean, take me away from my boxing and probably standing there and trading with me and getting me to trade with him as well. And at times I did do that. I did make that mistake where I stayed in there that bit longer and I wanted to fight with him. And when he stood there with me, I stood there with him. Whereas maybe I should have just hit him and gone under and out. So I think might have showed too much heart there. He didn't hurt me in the fight at all. He did catch me a lot of times. Didn't hurt me or anything. Like I say, he had a good game plan. He stuck to his game plan all the way. I think when he probably knew that he had to change his game plan when I was boxing him, and in the middle of the ring it was my fight. But so he had to put the pressure on. And at times, he was running at me because he knew that he couldn't box me or outbox me. So he had to run at me and cut me off and then just put everything into every time he had me stood there. But these are the things that we looked at, and we didn't really pay much attention on that in training camp. We didn't think it was going to be that bad. But it's hopefully the next fight that when we do face him, it's going to be we're not going to make the mistakes, and we're going to stick to what I know best, which is middle of the ring, hit the angles, keep the distance, and not stand there with him, because we don't have to stand there with him. I mean, we all know I can take a shot. I took his best shot, and he didn't hurt me. I'm the one who put him down twice in the first round, which only one was scored, which I was quite surprised. I mean, I think the first one that when we put him down, I think was more of a clear knockdown than the second one when he got a count. So I think it was more of I think the ref was probably a little bit of pressure on the referee as well, because him being from DC as well, he didn't really want to make any mistakes. But then when there was 2 knockdowns, you had to score one as a knockdown.
I mean, round 8 or 9, I think it was, you actually rocked him and it looked like he was going to go down. Going into the second fight, if it materialises, do you think that there's enough evidence there where you can stop Peterson? Obviously, he's known for being a fairly slow starter, but as the fight goes on, do you feel that there's enough there that you see that you feel you can actually stop him?
Well, yeah, we never go into a fight thinking I'm going to knock the guy out or I'm going to go for the knockout. I never do that. But I did hurt him in that in the mid round towards the end, and his legs did go. So it just shows that what I was doing was working, and I should have just stuck to that. And we all know now that he is hurt. We are able to hurt him in the later rounds, even though he's a slow starter. So next time, when we do hurt him, we're just going to put the pressure on him and try taking him out. So I think definitely, if we do everything right and stick to the game plan, and we can probably stop him in the later rounds. But I mean, a win's a win. If it goes a full distance and we put a good performance on and we outbox him, I'm happy with that.
Amir, this is a question for the pair of you. With these two different organisations and holding the title together, they all have their own new number one contenders. Is there not a possibility that basically it could just split the title so you can't get the whole thing back again? Because at the end of the day, you're talking about the IBF is again say, well, we got Jack, and the WBA say, no, we got Jill. You know what I'm talking about? So what's going to happen? How can you? Is it a fear that basically talking about we're not going to get the belts back together?
Well, Lamont did said on TV, on national TV,
But that was verbal. That was verbal.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's up to the fighter. Because for me, it was a voluntary fight. I didn't have to take the fight against Lamont. So it was IBF. So IBF it was mandatory for the IBF, but I did put the WBA. I didn't have to put the WBA title on. That was up to me. But I'm sure he'd want to fight me and put both titles on. I don't think his mandatory is due yet. If it is, if he's due mandatory for the WBA, I will be the first mandatory because I'm still the number one in the WBA. So we'll just see how that goes. Really, I'm going to leave that to the team and Golden Boy at the moment. I'm going to take a couple of days off and they working on in the background to get the fight on. But I'm sure Lamont's a guy who's going to stick to his words and also push for this fight to happen again because it was such a good fight. And it was probably one of the best fights of the year.
You don't think that basically the titles are going to split?
I hope not. I don't think so.
It depends on the complaint that's gone in. IBF may see the complaints differently. WBA may see the complaint differently. So there's a possibility that it could be split. However, with what Amir did, we put both the belts on the line. We anticipating that both the committees will look at it as one complaint going in and keep the belts together and not split it. Our object is obviously get the complaint appeal lodged in. Once we've lodged the complaints and appeal in, see what the outcome of that is, and then see where we go. We have 10 days to do it in from the day of the fight, so we're halfway through our discussions, and we are taking calls late at night, and Amir is involved in them discussions, and we're having with Golden Boy Promotion, our promotional company, having these discussions, and that would be by the end of play today. So it all depends.
And you've got good relationships with both organisations?
There's nothing wrong with both the federations. They're a great federation. Amir was proud to be an IBF champion. He was proud to be a WBA champion. There's nothing wrong with the federations here. Our complaint is the referee and the manner he judged that fight, and that made the outcome of the fight with Amir losing. And it's big calls he made. There's no rules saying a push is a foul for a point deduction. So we're taking the complaint very seriously, and we've obviously talked about it as a team with Golden Boy Promotions, and we want to make sure we follow the full procedures in getting to where we need to get to.
I mean, you were only answering questions in the build-up to the fight, but you did talk about Floyd Mayweather, and it leaves it open when you do lose. People say you focus too much on Mayweather.
No, we focused on this fight. No, we focused on Lamont Peterson 100%. We knew this was going to be a tough fight, and we had all. I didn't look past this fight. So no, definitely not. Every fighter has ambitions. You want to face the best fighters in the world, and my ambition is to face someone like Floyd Mayweather. And that'll be probably the highest point of my career, to face the best, and that's what I want to do. So that's still there for me. I've still got that ambition of facing the best fighter in the world and wanting to beat the best fighter in the world. Just like Ricky and all other fighters who have faced Floyd Mayweather. He's the guy out there to beat, and that's what we want to do. That's what's driving me to go up there. But no, whoever they put in front of me, 100% I focus on that opponent.
Regarding the comments you made in the post-fight interview in the ring with Larry Merchant, with what you said about DC, although 9% of the boxing world would probably agree, do you think it may affect your popularity or anything going into America with comments you made towards DC?
No, not at all. I don't think there'll be any fights in DC again. Golden Boy said we don't want to put a fight on there in DC. Even though it's a shame because the crowd was amazing. I mean, the crowd buzzed off it. How many people turned up? It was a sellout and everything. But I think other boxers like myself will see what happened, and they'll see the other fighters out there will see what happened to me, and they'll think forget going to DC because it just puts everyone down really. If they know decisions are going to happen and it's going to be unfair and the fights are not going to be fair, then I don't think people want to go there back there. And Golden Boy have said they don't want to put any shows on in DC. So,
understanding the point that Amir was told he'd won.
Yeah.
2 minutes before he's been told he's won, and then after all that controversy about counting the cards and then saying that he's lost, emotions are high. Emotions are all over. He's just come off a great fight, a fantastic fight. So the comments that Amir made, they were absolutely true and right. When he's just been told he's won and then saying he's not won, it's obvious that there'll be no fights in this.
In boxing, there could be a bit more of an effort to ensure that fights staged in hometown of the fighters can be actually treated a little bit better. Because in recent times we've seen tragic events which have seen Pacquiao take a decision over Marquez, we've seen Matthew Macklin lose.
All we want is fair fights. I mean, that's what boxing wants, because when fights don't happen fairly, it just puts you on a downer, and I think it's bad for boxing really. And people watch that and other champions see that and they think, why should we go there and fight, or why should we defend our world titles against voluntary defence, or why should we fight someone in the home state? I think when a lot of the fighters see what happened to me, I don't think they'll want to, fight an opponent in his home state, because this is what happens. I mean, all we want is a fair and square fight. Have neutral judges and a neutral referee, and I think that'll be the perfect thing, really. Yeah. But it's a learning curve for all of us. It's a learning curve for all of us, and I don't think I'll be making that again. I don't think I'll be wanting to fight someone in his home state again with his home referee and judging.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate. British boxers have got to go and challenge and got to go and defend, and that's how they're going to bring belts back to the UK, because they're great boxers. Yeah, and I appreciate what you're saying, but you have to go and do it, and there's no difference to champions or challengers.
Why has Amir had so much trouble finding opponents at your weight? Why should he have
He's
to
the best.
Why should he have to make concessions then?
He's the best. He has to give a lot away. Everybody comes to him. He's a great, exciting fighter. Everybody knows that the way he's risen from being a young star at the Olympic Games to being a world champion has been a very fast-track progress. He's not avoiding any challenges. He wants to go in uncomfortable zones and make the fights happen. And we have to do that. And, at the 140, the people that was there, we offered it to the Bradleys, and he refused. We wanted to unify the belts. You all know what Amir offered. It's never been heard of offering 50% of the UK money. So he's coming out of his zone. So he has to come out of his zone. But now we're back to in popularity, Amir's stake's gone up again. The media, the HBO, the Sky, everybody loves Amir because he's an exciting fighter. In popularity, it's gone up again. However, it's a learning curve. All the greatest fighters will learn from it. Manny Pacquiao did it. He has 3 losses under his belt. It doesn't matter if you lose, if you gain in the audiences and you gain in the crowd and you gain in popularity. It doesn't really matter. And that's where we are now. We did it with Prescott. He's the first one that comes back in and gets everybody around the table. He's done it again, and he wants to do it again, and he'll build on it. He knows what his mistakes are, and he knows where he can get to. We believe in him. Shah believes in him. Freddie Roach, myself, all the team believe in him. So, from our point of view, sometimes we have to give a lot more to get the right fights that we need.
Yeah, we offered a lot of fighters the opportunity, and I even said I put both of my titles on the line, and you know, when we offered the fight to Lamont Peterson before, he didn't take it, and that was for the WBA and the IBF.
That was in this country.
That was for just the WBA, sorry. Yeah, that was in this country, and he refused that. And then we offered the fight for a unification fight against Morales. He turned it down. Tim Bradley turned the fight down, and you know, then the other fighters like Lucas Matisse and them guys were already fighting each other. So, and I needed a fight in December, so it was quite difficult to get a fight. And you know, that's one of the reasons we went to Lamont Peterson's backyard, really, because we wanted to fight and we wanted to face someone. And you know, we have to make these moves if you want to keep on fighting and stay active.
Any more questions?
If we come through the Peterson saga, you win the second fight. We're speaking about Floyd Mayweather. If the Mayweather fight does not materialise for whatever reason, is there anyone else that you've got like?
There's a lot of fighters out there who are huge names, and you know, you've got like the Shane Mosley's out there at 147. I think that'll be an amazing fight. You've got me and Manny Pacquiao will never fight because you know we train together and everything. We have the same trainer. But you've got Victor Ortiz, Berto. They fighting each other. You know, the winner of that could be a good fight. Because you know, like I said, styles make fights, and I think I really think Berto might take that fight against Victor Ortiz, the second one. So you know, me and Berto would be amazing to clash. You know, two styles could make a good clash. So.
Do you think the Bradley fight's dead in the water now?
I don't think he'll ever take that fight. You know, we were ready for him. Twice we offered him a fight, and he was offered the biggest payday in his whole career, and he refused to take the fight. Even this time, before Lamont Peterson offered him the fight, putting the 2 titles on the line, and the fight, and his one, the WBO he holds, and he still refused to fight. So, you know, we can only try, and I think we did get a little bit desperate, you know, looking for opponents, and that's the reason we went to Lamont Peterson, you know, in DC to fight him.
I know you said it after the fight, but are the sounds from Peterson's camp positive about a rematch?
Richard Schaefer has been speaking to, from Golden Boy, been speaking to the camp. It's still early days yet. We have to wait and see what the outcome is, and if he agrees, that's great. I'll commend him for it. He told me straight after that it was a great fight, let's do it again, and and Peterson himself said it in the press conference that he'll even come to the UK. Saying things is one thing, but doing it is another, and I hope that throughout the camp, Barry Hunter and his team were magnificent and kept to the word. And I hope after the fight they keep to the word as well, because that's, in a way, that's something that they themselves and the public and the media and the boxing world wants, that rematch, and I hope they stick to their guns and give it to us.